And I think that was the best thing that could ever happen to me. Because the being out, I discovered the hunger, the motivation, the desire to be the best possible basketball player that I could be. He was invited to parties or family gatherings on weekends. So Fridays and Saturdays, I was doing my regular basketball and basically drew myself to sleep. And I think that that was the best thing that could ever happen to me. Because the thing is, when the hours in the rental, I discovered the hunger, the motivation, and the desire.
Arthur hits. Reach for gloves and love feedback. He's up back from this. In the race against time. It's are complicated. John Krasinski.
Matchups because the idea of the summit is not to make the six hottest games happen right away, and then the six next hottest games happen right away. It's to allow to strike on maybe one or two of the most important games in that moment, and let some of these new guys that are trying to have an opportunity. Because if you do allow the guys that are trying to push through the big stage, I promise some of them are going to jump other, and that's where you're going to get consistent longevity from top players. It's just like start playing four of these games right. If he goes 4-0, why doesn't he deserve to go play with Sweet? Go play or go play Rob. Go like give them an opportunity to get to the top. And I think that's been a very big problem in the space in general, is there's not a lot of acceptance of creating an opportunity for somebody to get to the top. Like some of the top guys were going and playing as much of these as these guys trying to have some losses doing that, which I understand why. I'm just saying like so harsh on the guys that are trying to come up that we forget guys that are at the top are trying to play as much.
I think what people understand either, Scott, is that there are a lot of basketball, really good basketball players in this world. I always compare it to battle rap, but it's not like battle rap because a lot of people just want to hear the same five people rap. They like those styles, but with basketball, this shit is endless. The next question I have for you, you can answer if you want to answer, but it's a super chat. I gotta ask it. Why do you get so much hate for the contractual obligations in the past, and now VIL blocked the LP game due to contracts, and nobody is talking about it?
I think I would say for the first part of that question, I definitely just want to be very like careful how we put all this stuff. For the first part of that question, I pulled up the thing here.
Yeah.
We want to be very thought out, so just give me a sec.
Yeah. How many minutes, bro? 9 minutes, bro.
If I think early on, still to this day, contracts make sense for players because it provides them stability. Certain people would rather take the shot at making 2K every single time they play a game and they're getting 5 games that month and maybe they go get a 10K back. But if they're on the other side of the coin and they lose all 5 games, their next month is unsure for them. You know what I mean? So, like, then on the contract side, if you're getting 5K and that's allowing you to play 1 game or 2 games a month, but you know that the next month you're getting paid again, and the month after that you're getting paid again. A lot of people have families, they got bills to take care of. They rely more on that consistency. So in the beginning, we were doing contracts. It wasn't like you're forced to be on contract. It was a hey, do you want to? It's like, do you want to talk about what this would look like? And once we did, this is the rate we feel comfortable paying you every single month. So when guys said that they were cool with it, that's why we started rolling out with the contracts because it also allows us to scale and set up certain games that are going to be big for the community. Or like look at like I'd say like look at like Nas versus Scoop, how big of a game that was. But let's say they weren't signed and they were trying to build that up for months, and somebody else put the game on. It's like now you as a platform, it's like damn, he's just paying these players so much money for like 4 months trying to build this and build this. I lost money those 4 months. So that fifth month, when I wanted to try to make some of that money back, I can't even do it anymore. So that's where the contract makes sense as a platform. I just think right now we've always kind of been ahead of the game in the sense of like the first to introduce something new to go against, what the typical norm was, and we get a lot of scrutiny for it. And it's kind of just like cool to hate on TNC, I guess. And now that people are becoming aware that other contracts exist, as they should, it's healthy to have contracts when you have a business that you're spending a lot of money on. But it is a very, 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 very similar situation. And I've actually passed, if people want to talk about it publicly and they want to clear the air about what happened, it's going to be Devontae speaking on behalf of TNC on that one, because I think a lot of people have kind of felt very comfortable pointing me as the bad guy. But we're all in these decisions together. So I think that if they really want to like talk about it, like Devontae's a great person to speak on behalf of TNC for the community.
We got another super chat from Brandon Miles. It says, "Does this mean TNC is moving away from exclusivity?"
It's not. It's not like I'm trying to find that question. It's not about like moving away from exclusivity. It's more if we have a certain plan that we're trying to accomplish with a player, it might not make sense for them at that time to go play a game somewhere. And you might think like, oh, they're trying to block that, or they're trying to prevent him from getting a certain opportunity. We don't enjoy the exclusivity model.
Your perfect domain is out there. Go to Wix and make it yours.
It's not conflicting with what we're trying to build, and we have a conversation with the player and we come to an agreement that makes sense, then we're cool with letting guys go play. It's at this point the space has grown so much that if players want to go play more games, then we're not going to be as stuck on like not trying to see that. We're just going to say like, hey, like if we've agreed that we're going to pay you X amount of dollars every single month, you're supposed to like give us your biggest amount so that you can support TNC. If you want to negotiate something less, neither not be on contract, will receive less each month from us, then let's just have that conversation.
It's okay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, if I didn't explain that, well, I want to clear that up because that always gets brought up.
Yeah, so he's staying. Shout out Alvin Jones.
I mean, D-Stan would be a guy that's like an opportunity. D-Stan would be like an opportunity for like a guy that can potentially come in on a summit card and play as an undercard game, because everybody knows he's really tough. There's just like a good chunk of the community that hasn't really seen him yet. But maybe if he's paired with like a let's say you got a D stand going up against, or D stand's like what, 5'9", 5'10"?
You know, it's
Okay, so 5'10" is like maybe you get a D stand versus a or a D stand versus a Zoe, or a D stand versus a, you know, those are the two.
so
Yeah, so like I'm looking at that and it's like the idea, the fans would be like, "No, I ain't paying to watch that shit," but it's like it's a supplemental game to a really good headliner and a good co-main. So like give the guys an honest opportunity to like build their brand.
it's got like 250 JC8, I want to say his name.
Yeah. Well, the 250 narrative, don't I don't really understand like why that got as far as it got in terms of like you can when we did our last season there was $20,000 on the line, which means every single time your team got a win, you made like $100. So as the season unfolded, once the teams picked up 5 wins, you got 500 extra dollars on top of your appearance fee. So I don't think that there was anybody that season who didn't leave with 1,000 or more. It's just we've decided to run our style of content and what we do with prize money. So like players are more incentivized to go out there and make sure they win games in order to get paid. Because if they're going to just show up and we've had bad experiences in the beginning where we've given guys a good amount of money, they've been paid and they just don't care to like earn the rest. So they're going to give you like a shitty game and they think that it's, well, I got this amount of followers, so they're going to book me again. So like I've been on the bad side of like wasting my money. I've been burned bad a few times. So just gonna put the prize money up and the best man wins.
Got another super chat from Shannon that says, "Will we see TNC go to other countries do events one day? Maybe TNC versus London, considering you guys have fans all over the world."
Our biggest fan base is actually the Philippines. To try to make something good. Our Facebook audience is crazy for the Philippines. But we've been having conversations every week with a lot of international greatness, a lot of greatness out there. Very, very, very expensive to do international flights for a team this big. So that's kind of been like the number one thing that's prevented some of that. So there's just got to be a really good game plan on how we'll make our money back. Like I'd love if we would just do it, but I think right now it'd be too volatile to like go drop $50,000 to book all these overseas flights and all this stay and pay produce 7 episodes on YouTube and you make 12K.
So we got a super chat from A. Millie. It says Adonis has a question. Let me find Adonis's question. Super chat from Adonis. How many summits will there be a month?
That's kind of like another loaded question in the side of like our goal is to do these way more frequently. Like it would be great to have a summit be 2 weeks later, another one's coming, 3 weeks later, another one's coming. But it does come down to like after we do this first one and the second one, like we're 100% committed to do those too. Comes down to the community supporting that and showing that there's an appetite that people actually will spend the money to do this stuff. Our goal, we have a gym, we have everything that we need in order to go live, and we have everything that we need to give you guys a matchup, even down to TNC League. Like it benefits us so much as a platform because the reason why we stepped off of YouTube is so that we had more flexibility in what we could charge. Because on YouTube, if let's say we go June 1st, y'all want to see a crazy event, we charge you $20 for it, and it costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars to execute this crazy event, and we end up breaking even. If we wanted to do another one 2 weeks later, we can't ask those same subscribers to spend more money because they're already paying for the monthly. So we have to wait at least 30 days. And even on like, if the event was happening on June 1st, we have to wait even longer for YouTube to pay us. So with our platform and what we're designing, if y'all have enough interest to make a game happen, there's nothing stopping us from just pull up to the facility, $5 extra, we'll make the game happen for you. So like that's been the bigger vision of why we left YouTube, is so that we'd have this flexibility to react in real time and give people what they want to see. The only way to do it is come May 16th and the next one after that. You got to see if people will support.
Got us in the chat says, man, B. Ellis versus D. Stands fast cage. Seasons, and what are some most common things will change spread across the type of series they're playing it?
Trying to figure out what the value is of doing seasons, if something like the summit can exist very frequently, is like also another thing I'm considering, because we spend so much time and resources and so much, like, dude, it's exhausting delivering a season. We're there for 5 straight days. We're commentating. You guys are commentating 20 games. Our cameramen are filming for 20 games. And then our editors are working 8 to 10 hours on every single episode, sometimes more. Like, it ends up being several hundreds of hours of work for us to film something 2 months ago that we release over time, and players are starting to grow. But then we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot because, like, as we're trying to build somebody and invest in that player growing, their big game comes out and somebody else is able to grab that person, put them in an event, have them play in that event. Did I get freezing them? Yeah. Okay. But like, it puts us in a box, like such a hard box of not being able to react in real time. Like, Fondy and Rob got into it. Like, I'm gonna keep bringing up Fondy and Rob because I really do want to make the game happen. They got into it almost 2 months ago. The fans are just now.
It was 2 months ago.
So it's like, are you muted?
You can hear?
It just stopped here. Let me refresh real quick and make sure I'm thinking words. One second.
Doing see what happened touring overseas, and whether we need uploads from you. Yeah, it's too inconsistent on YouTube. He's just posts once a year. Oh, no problem. Okay, that'll be good.
Anyways, I'm saying that, like, that happened 2 months ago. So being able to react in real time, it's like, do you focus as much as doing seasons, or you adapt to a newer model or a newer position? You know, we're going to Austin, Texas, I suppose. So it's like, is it more city events, find more talent, and do the matchups you might have gotten in a season, but like, start to produce them more live so that fans can see games happen in real time, and there's not like skeletons in the closet of like games that happened 3 months ago or 4 months ago that just never came out, and then they randomly come out. Like, it's the space is evolving in a way that's like, you've got to be able to react to real time.
We got another super chat. Is TNC too friendly? Some of the matches feel like sparring matches. How do you inject some healthy negativity or intensity back into your seasons?
I think that a lot of that comes down to guys don't want to. I think it's a lot about how they play their image online. They don't want to like play against somebody that they're around all the time and potentially lose that person, and then have to always be reminded every time that they win, yeah, but he can't fuck with so and so. He can't fuck with so and so. So I think they've been less open to the idea of like playing against each other, and that's why you don't get certain matchups. But I really hope to clear all that shit up with like the idea of the summit. You win 5K, you win 5K. So it'll be pretty stupid for people of like, dang, so I just got to play this person for a shot at 5K. Why wouldn't you take that? So I think naturally it's going to be like, dang, he just called me out. He must think I'm a free 5K. It's going to just over time build up.
When will you see when will we see you teach Scotty the YN walk? Yeah, he's next.
Bro, the walk's gonna be ass for me.
Yo, yes, ABC Group King of the Court undercard in the summit. Okay. Hey, Millie. Hey, Millie's hostile. GOMD. Don't be mad at me because you post once a year. Anyway, Scotty, any final thoughts, man? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to go? Chest file, let you go, man.
May 16th, tap into the summit, grab a TNC League subscription. I promise that over time, and you've already gotten this, I want you guys to just think about all of the value we've given you compared to what you've spent. Not in a way of trying to compare the two necessarily, so maybe compare is the wrong word, but it's like we've given a lot of value for $10 a month. And this is just a moment we are trying to evolve. We're trying to evolve. We're not trying to take more money from people because if we were in a position where we could give this shit all for free, watch it on free on YouTube someday, I'd love to do that. But we are trying to grow something that has never been done before. And very vulnerably, we need that support. I'm not going to say we're just sitting there loaded with millions of dollars sitting in our pocket. In order to accomplish something like this, we're going to find ourselves out there. We're going to try. And if people rock with it, they're going to get more of it. If they don't rock with it, then another pivot would need to be made.
I'll see you next time.
So,
And that is Scotty Weaver addressing the community. Y'all know what's going on with my boy. But yeah, man, make sure you guys
It's like that you like her, and only when that happens is you're striving, you're being excellent, she's following your lead, you're having actions, and I realize like how
On Etsy, you can find your favorite person a gift as special as they are, like a custom leather camera strap to celebrate your photography obsessed friend, for special birthday gifts that say, I get you. Shop the Etsy app.
WTU has a ton of resources that really allowed for flexibility for me. I had a bunch of credits and they transferred over. And because we did accelerate, I finished very quickly. With WTU, you could start whenever.
today, how neat modern day women nowadays are fairly delusional about the male experience. So I kind of, was like, let's have these podcasts where we kind of bring girls in and have discussions and talk about, dating relationships. And it's just really,
I think they're helping themselves out.
yeah, it's really like eye opening to see like how many women are just like unaware of how easy their life is, how easy dating is. Like dating is an easy one for girls to the point where they don't even realize that they're super privileged. It's wild.
And also for guys, like for example, girls don't know what guys really want. So imagine girls trying to date guys, capture this high value guy, you don't know what he wants. And it's going to work. So that's scary.
It's good that you guys are doing this. And
People because I'm 32, 33,
so we back in the days, we didn't really have these figures to look up to. Yeah. Sort of paved the way. Even when I'm making videos now, I'm making videos for my younger self who didn't really have people to get that place for. So you do some really good work. Thanks for the social media. Thank you so much. Social media is kind of like a double-edged sword because on one end, right, it gives you all the information you need. You're able to, look anything up in mere seconds. It's fantastic, right? It's the information age. But at the same time, it's kind of been a double-edged sword and a negative for men because what's happened as a byproduct of that is that women have like tremendously increased their standards, which leaves a lot of guys out in the dust. There's studies coming out all the time that show that women find like 90% of men plus as unattractive, right? Like only the top 5 to 10%. A study actually came out a couple weeks ago, right before I put out this book, that the top 5% of men were by far the most promiscuous, getting all the girl section. So it's becoming more and more pronounced. And I think as feminism gets stronger and women earn more money and, Instagram and social media takes off even more so, girls are going to be even more selective. So a lot of guys will stand a chance, unfortunately, which is what we're kind of bringing attention to, let guys know, hey, if you want to be able to get the dating life that you want, you are going to have to work for it. Days of being a nice guy and making $50,000 a year and being average and everything and getting a beautiful girlfriend that's going to love you, respect you, and submit to you, those days are almost gone. Yeah, it's not enough.
This is the book. Actually, it's good to start a massive book. It's the essentials. Wish I had to book in the early 20s. Same thing. So diving into this, I don't know, first of all, why what made you do this?
So from one of the podcasts, we've interviewed now almost 2,000 girls on the show from different walks of life, from different states, different countries, different education levels. I know people say, you only bring dumb bimbos on. That's not true. Because if you watch the beginning of the show, we always go around the panel, ask the girls, what do you do for work? What's your highest education level, computer, etc., to get an idea. And there sometimes we'll have like one girl on the panel that has an Instagram, another girl that does OnlyFans, another girl that does porn, another girl that works in a professional world. So people say, oh, you only have OnlyFans girls on, but that's not true. They bring on different types of girls on. But what I found is that regardless of woman's education level, her background, etc., they still have a fairly unrealistic expectation of what they want in a man, and worse yet, they think they deserve and are entitled to that man without necessarily having to work on themselves. And I've realized this from regardless of the woman's background. So for me doing that and then also looking at the data, right, the objective data as well as my anecdotal data from doing the show, because at this point I don't think anyone has interviewed more women than I have, right? It's very obvious that men really need to level up and focus on themselves, and then girls become the byproduct of the leveling up. Versus guys, oh, let me do everything to get a girl, let me get a girl. And it's like they chase the women, they don't chase the success. When you chase the women, what ends up happening is you have to work exponentially harder because you're dealing with someone that didn't like you in the first place. And I go into that one of the chapters that women really don't like men that much to begin with.
I like how you started off. This book's for refusing to help your fellow human. If it's a woman, nor is it for refusing to work, interact, or socialize with women in society. It is to prevent you from wasting your resources on the unreciprocated romantic pursuit of women as the point of your life. Exactly. I know a few guys right now, some of my friends, who are literally ruining their life. Yeah. In the pursuit of just trying to please a woman and make them happy and just making them their priority.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing is I tell guys all the time, like, why women deserve less. But in general, if you find a girl that's cool, she's loyal to you, she's submissive to you, she makes your life easier, she's an asset versus a liability, treat her well. I definitely think the man should be the provider. I believe in the nuclear family. I believe that a man should take care of his family, his children, and be the main provider. And I genuinely think that the man should be the breadwinner and the woman should work only if she chooses to. It should be elective for her, mandatory for you as a man, elective for her. And I think that's when the dynamic is the best. But the problem is that most girls don't respect that, and most girls nowadays don't deserve that, to be honest with you. And my thing is, I want guys to protect themselves and their resources for the women that do deserve it versus the majority that don't.
And you would say a lot of these issues and problems have come about over the past 10, 20 years, largely due to technology and social media.
Yeah, feminism started it, and social media is exacerbating the problem. Definitely, because it's given women unrealistic expectations as to where they stand in the sexual marketplace. And what I mean by that is, let's say you take a girl that's a 6 or 7, right? Not the most attractive, but somewhat attractive, above average, right? That woman now has access to men that are exceptional, if not top tier. And thanks to Instagram and social media, the internet, dating apps, all this stuff, right? And what ends up happening is she might get a date with one of these guys. She might get flown out with one of these guys. She might even smash one of these guys. But the reality is that she's never going to be able to lock down one of these guys. And what I've come to realize from interviewing so many girls is they conflate
Friday vibes. Suck it up with a juicy experience. It's a vibe. It's here. One office visit every 6 months.
2 times a year. Sexual market value, them being attractive, with relationship market value, them being able to lock down a guy. And I would argue most girls are good at this, being able to get a guy, but can they keep them? And most girls can't. That's why so many of them are single. That's why so many of them have, cats and dogs. And we have more single women now than ever before. So the problem is, the guy's game is to attain the girl. The girl's game is, can you retain the guy after sex? And I would argue most modern day women can.
Yeah.
And the data shows that.
They don't really have anyone to.
Yeah.
Do you think they're better off getting advice on that from men or from women?
I think so, because men are leaders, right? And what I realized from girls, and we've even done this on the show, where I'll tell a girl an objective truth about what men find attractive and the chances of her finding that man. We have a delusion calculator. A supporter of ours made it, and it's literally based on the U.S. Census Bureau and the National Health Survey, right? So it has probably the most accurate data figure points as far as like men in the United States. So we asked her, what height do you want her to be? How much do you want her to earn? Et cetera, et cetera. We go through it, right? Most of the girls pick a guy that's in the top 1%, if not less, when it comes to earning potential, height, not being obese, race, etc. And this guy is like 1% of the population. So we tell him, listen, you probably have this amount of chances of finding this guy. Are you going to, lower your standards a bit? And they say no. And we tell them, well, you need to lower your standards or be okay with the fact that you're probably going to be this guy's second or third girlfriend and you might not be a maid. And then, and we'll tell them this is the objective reality, what you're facing. And the other girls on the table will say, no, bro, it's okay, manifest it. So you watch it real time in 4K, them giving them terrible advice in the face of objective reality, the chance of finding this man, screens on there, because we have a big screen and the thing says less than 1%. And we have a cat bag calculator that says like 1 out of 5 cat bags. All these girls are scoring 5 cat bags, right? And the numbers are there, staring them in the face. This guy is rare, and if you do find him, he's going to want multiple women. No, I'm going to find my first target that's going to be monogamous to me, blah, blah, blah. And then the other girls actually encourage it. So what we've realized is women reinforce this delusion amongst each other, and single women keep each other single. They don't tell each other what they need to hear, which is why the father figure and, having a strong brother, uncles, and I think the father especially, needs to be had, because your dad will tell you how the world really works versus women give each other answers.
Do you think, in a woman's eyes, that perfect man exists? Because they're obviously looking for the man to have like all these characteristics where he's like over 6 foot, making a certain amount of money, looks certain ways, charming, funny, status, whatever. But like you said, the harsh reality is those men are probably not going to be loyal. Yeah, some of them might be.
Yeah, and I tell them all the time, can you find that man maybe? He'll be loyal to you and be a Chad and tall and good looking and in shape? Maybe. But the chances are very unlikely. And you're better off going off of probability versus possibility. And women tend to err on the side of possibility and hoping versus the probability. Right? See, and I've realized that this kind of comes, like, men are forced to accept reality because if we don't perform, our reality reflects that. If you're a loser, you're fat, etc., people don't respect you, you don't get girls, you don't get dates, people make fun of you, you're ridiculed, you're bullied for it, which I think is actually good. You get negative reinforcement for your poor decisions. Women don't operate that way.
If a girl is mildly attractive, she could be delusional, stupid, not necessarily the most intelligent person. She will still get positive reinforcement and told she's special, she's a princess, she deserves the world. All she has to do is go on Instagram and get that validation from a bunch of simps. Then on top of that, you know, why does a girl feel like she needs to self-improve or become better if all she gets is positive reinforcement for her inadequacies? That's kind of where we're at. So I think social media reinforces the delusion. I've seen girls there because I like to go on the feminist Twitter sometimes to see the other side, and I've seen girls make Tinder accounts when they feel bad or after a breakup, just to get a bunch of guys to swipe right on them, feel better, and then they'll close it down. Like girls use dating apps for validation. I thought about that in the book.
He put some stats in saying that it goes from them being on Tinder or whatever it might be to actually getting down to the point where there is a successful date. It's like 0%, right?
And girls go, and I think it's very hard for men to understand that women use dating apps, right, and the internet to meet men much differently than men use it to meet women. Men use it, I want to get a date. Women use it, okay, I can get a date, I can go on a free dinner, I can get free attention, I can get a guy to send me money. So women are able to use male attention to their advantage. And if a man doesn't understand this, he can get finessed and really get used and abused. And a lot of guys don't know this uncomfortable truth that women will use you if you allow them to. So it's upon you to not get finessed.
What is your
I've been needing more work in my bedroom and recently painted this canvas. It's a picture of the
feedback been so far from releasing this book? I'm just curious to know. I imagine a large percentage of the people who bought this have been men.
Yeah.
But as this ripples some feathers,
Of course, yeah. I mean, we were on old blogs yesterday, and his sister didn't like the title. But I don't think it's offensive, though.
yeah, like, I think obviously there's some things which are probably going to piss off some women, but I think it's a lot of it is truth.
Yeah, the problem is, all right, the book title itself is definitely controversial. But if you read the book, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It tells you why, it breaks it down. However, what's going to happen? Most girls are not going to read the book. It said that. So there, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, because we live in a world nowadays where, quite frankly, we're told to kiss women's asses regardless of how they behave. And my thing is, I want guys to treat women accordingly. If she treats you poorly, sure, feel free to treat her poorly back or not give her any of your attention. You know, my thing is all about reciprocation. And the reality is that most women don't reciprocate, right, to men. And I want guys, if you're not getting reciprocation, if you're doing it, at least she's doing it.
you mentioned before, you say strike a balance that allows us to achieve your own contract desires while successfully navigating contract realities.
Yes.
Was that one?
So, in the book, I talk about the old contract and the new contract. And the old contract used to be, right, in this way the books always worked is men trade resources for sex, right, or sexual access, right? And then women, right, go ahead and give children if they want, right? But nowadays, it's the new contract is I don't need no man, I'm trying independent, you know, all this feminist propaganda BS. But the thing is that what women do is they kind of negotiate in bad faith. So they take parts of the old contract that benefit them while simultaneously getting rid of the duties that came with that contract. And guys are stupid enough to not understand this. So in other words, women expect you to be a traditional man and chivalrous at all times, while they can pick and choose when they want to be a lady. And that's not a good trade, because if I'm going to be held to a standard, I'm supposed to protect and provide for you and be this dominant leader. Well, I'm supposed to get some kind of authority with that because I'm responsible. But what women want is for you to have all the responsibility with zero authority. And Rollo Tomassi says it in the book, and I quote him as well, shout out to him, that responsibility without authority is slavery. And that's where a lot of guys are, where they're taking care of a girl, they might be simping. I'm sure you see it here in Dubai, where you got guys that have money that take care of these women, but they treat them like crap or they don't appreciate it. Now, is that all the time? No, of course. But, you know, I tell guys all the time, like having money and status isn't enough. You need to have other things in play too. You have to have your frame on point, you have to have game, you have to understand how women operate psychologically. It needs to be the full package. I never tell guys, oh yeah, just make money and you're gonna get women. No, you're gonna become a rich simp, they're gonna use you for that. So, but at the same time, I don't want you to be a brokey that's attractive, that's in the gym and can't maintain a girl long term if you want a serious relationship. So you gotta strike a balance and have it all. But yeah, basically girls dabble in both contracts and take and pick and choose what they want. And I'm telling guys, like, no, it's one or the other. You want to be strong and independent, cool. You're only going to get sex and nothing else.
Speaking of simps, you mentioned that there's an army of simps in today's society.
Yeah.
How the hell do we fix that problem? Because I think this is why women have such inflated egos, so much choice. They just get planted every single day by all these offers which they're getting, and the majority of these people are men who are just simping.
Yeah, dude.
So what I've noticed is like if you try and tell a simp to stop being a simp, he's not going to listen because they're not thinking properly. Even back in the day when I was in my early 20s, like I don't know, like, it was some things
Before we like I think that's why it's so important because you have to be there to know what it feels like so you can be able to properly dispense advice to someone that is there. But the problem is this, let's be honest, we know men are hard. They gotta take the L for them to finally come to a realization like what was I doing? You know, because every guy has this kind of ego thing where they think, oh, my methodology of getting girls is the best, whether they're paying for escorts, they're tricking on OnlyFans, or whatever it is, and think this is the best way to do it because they're so ego invested and they spent their time, their money, their resource, whatever it may be, into pursuing women in that avenue. It's not until they take a massive out and they get some serious heart rate that they come to this side of the internet and realize, wow, everything I've been told is a lie. Because we tell men all the time to prop women up, pedestalize them, that's how you get them, be a nice guy. And those days were done. They swore maybe 50, 60 years ago, right? When being a gentleman would work. Nowadays, you have to pick and choose which girls to be a gentleman with. But like I said,
Yeah,
bro, it's only going to get worse, I think.
because usually, right, what happens is a guy will find a girl, is hot to him, attractive. He'll put all his effort behind her. Pick her up, put her on a pedestal, give us altar her, right? She didn't like that at the beginning. Then she gets bored, you know, they get married, have kids, whatever. She's like, you know what? This guy's boring. I'm tired of him. I'm gonna leave. And she divorces him. He's out of his stuff. So the guy is left with nothing now, and half his money, if at all. He's like, damn, what do I do? He's like, you know what? Any answers? Goes online, go to YouTube, find her content, go to Tomasi, and he, damn, here's where I messed up. But most guys, they're like, you know what? Until that point, they don't ever look for answers. So that's the thing that happens all the time. So,
but as far as like simping, dude, I honestly predict that it's going to get worse before it gets better. Like it's great because this type of content, right? Like Andrew's done a fantastic job of like letting guys understand that you know you do have value as a man, you just need to work and earn it, and then women will respect you for it. But it's still a minority. Like most guys are simps. It's just crazy. You know, a lot of guys are in a sexless relationship, sexless marriage. They're with a girl that doesn't respect them. They're with a girl that likes to go to the club and you know have a bunch of guys DM them and get attention. And you know once guys wake up and realize like this is unacceptable behavior on a worldwide scale, then women will start to act right. But you know, women aren't going to change until guys become better and like girls know that this is acceptable behavior.
take it as like a religion, right? So, for example, let's say I'm Christian. I want you to be Christian. Si lo que hagas te cuesta menos en algo fuerte. I'm going to tell you, oh, come to church. You're like, bro, for what? However, if it becomes a problem, the solution, live my lifestyle, you're like, yeah, he lives good, he's happy, I'm happy. You know what? You do what you do. Amen. If you want something, come to church with me. Same thing with the simple. You know what? Simple right now, but I'm losing money, feel bad, I don't feel good. It's the lifestyle. It's going around. So, you know what? I'm going to get that from you. So then I ask you, that's what you give it to them. Anything else you need, that's one else. So,
I think for me personally, I learned these lessons from just getting heartbroken, going through the experience of being a sim, and then literally being treated like trash, and then realizing, oh, okay, I understand what mistakes which I made. So yeah, people can try as much as possible to try and learn from the mistakes that other people have made. I think nothing is more hard hit than actually experiencing it yourself.
Women are fantastic creatures in the fact that they operate on respect. And what I mean by that is a woman can't love you truly and you can't get the best out of a woman with her love unless she really respects you. And the problem that guys don't understand is that respect is earned through a bunch of different avenues, right? You gotta have your physicality on point. She needs to know that you can actually protect her, you're stronger than her. You need to be competent. You need to know more than she does. You need to be smarter than her in almost every regard. You need to make more money than her. Like women don't look for an equal, even though mainstream society says, "Oh, I want an equal partnership." No, you don't. You want a man superior to in every single way. If you look at 50 Shades of Grey, which is one of the popular books, Women want a guy that's better than them in every regard, every metric. So what I'm telling guys is become that guy, and then you, right? Because you've created excellence and you're still demanding more excellence by yourself, then you can bring the girl into your life and demand excellence from her. But you need to, I look at it like I use the Pokemon analogy, right? You know, if you don't have enough badges, right, you couldn't control a certain type of Pokemon, right? It was like maybe a level 50 Charizard. You only got 3 badges, though. You're not going to be able to control it because you haven't beaten enough gym leaders. I tell guys all the time, that's kind of what it is. You need to have enough Pokemon badges and beat the Elite Four to get the most attractive girls because they have a bunch of people that want to get them. And for you to be able to command that respect from them, you need to be on point first. Women look for leaders, but the big thing is you need to be able to lead by example. And for her to respect you, she has to feel like she can submit to you and you're the leader. But the problem is that guys want girls that are going to be submissive, but they don't have their life together.
Now they may still test you even though you're a high value guy, but at the same time, they respect you. So it comes with the you know that type of setup. But like regardless of the facts, if you're not a guy that she wants to be with, you tell her, hey, you know what, I like that. You know what? This man's my dream man. I want to listen to what he has to say.
And that comes back, and I say all that to bring it full circle to the simp thing. The reason why a girl can't respect the simp is because the simp pedestalizes her. Yeah. And women know that they need a man who's superior to them. If you're simping on her and pedestalizing her, she automatically infers that she's better than you. And I tell guys, you know, all the fellas get mad at me, whatever, you gotta be better than your girl in every. And not only that, you need to have other women. Oh my God, that's so controversial. No, because women only act right when they know they can be replaced.
Here's 2 ways you can know if someone's a real simp. For example, this one scene is they can't say no to the girl. Those 2 things are hard. If you can't do those 2 things, you're telling you what's up with you. So
yeah. So I and people, you know, and I grew Andrew on this as well because you know he's always been big on like having multiple girls and everything. But I've noticed I get the best treatment from women when they know that I have another girl and they can be replaced at any time because what happens, and this is human nature in general, whenever you start to get comfortable, slack off a bit, like I got my position, I'm locked in, etc. Like with girls, you need another woman there to keep the other girl on her toes. Because when a girl starts getting comfortable, that's a lot of time when disrespect happens. I tell you guys all the time. So the song future, you know, bitch don't get too comfortable. You know, it's like a fat, funny, and catchy line, but you know, drill into people guys' heads that when a woman gets comfortable, that's when the disrespect comes. That's what she does, you know, wants to maybe go all with the girls, or she wants to dress more provocatively when she's not around you. She wants to put pictures of her ass all over the place. She's starting to subtly screen for a better guy than you. And see, if man isn't aware of this, he's not going to know because a lot of guys think men and women are equal. So unless she's all cold approaching guys, they're going to assume, oh no, she's still loyal to me. No, dummy. Like girls move differently when they're looking for a mate. They can't overtly go ahead and go up to a guy and be like, "You're handsome. I'd love to talk to you." No, most of the time they do it covertly. Whether it's them going to with their friends or the guys under the guise of all girls' night out, or it's them Instagram, you being on Instagram, friend pics themselves, DMing, whatever it may be. Like girls are much sneakier when it comes to infidelity and doing things, but you might not even catch it as a guy. And actually, as a matter of fact, the way a woman treats her guy in public or the way she puts herself out to the public, right, tells you a lot about the man's masculinity. Typically, when the girl really respects her man, you see that she's quiet, she's docile, she doesn't have that big of an internet profile unless the guy wants her to. Everything she does is typically under his authority, but when she doesn't care, she talks in any which way, blah, blah, blah. And that's when you know the guy is messed up. A woman is typically a mirror image of her man's masculinity. Yeah. The public disrespect is the worst thing. Yeah. It's bad. And the crazy part is like women don't want to be with a guy that they can disrespect like that. They want a guy, as controversial as this may sound, they want a guy that can look them dead in the eye and say, "Shut the fuck up. Who are you talking to? Get out of my house." And I've done that to girls, and they come back different. Like, or I've had it before where
Airheads. Is this the episode with the breakup?
you know, she'll act crazy. I'm like, "Get out of my house." I'm putting another chick right in front of her to let her know. And people say, "Oh, they're so evil, they're so bad." But that's what you have to do with women a lot of the time because we live in this crazy, honor-centric society where women think it's acceptable to disrespect men openly sometimes. And you have to constantly let them know why punch bad behavior. That's why I figured her out the first time. You gotta Frank out these hoes sometimes. You gotta let them know this wasn't acceptable. Obviously, you never do it physically. Of course not. You do it through your actions of replacing her. The only power you have as a man in 2023 and beyond is you got to be able to walk away from a girl if she disrespects you. And that's when she realizes, damn, this guy really will walk away from me and get another and get another girl at that. That might be cute. They'll be, yeah, that's when they turn around and they say, "I need to readjust my behavior." Because women rarely ever get put in an uncomfortable position like that when they can be replaced. Most guys are gonna go through some fucked up shit. You know, sit there, please take me back and eat it. Do nothing, it was her. But she'll go ahead and gaslight and make them feel bad, and you can't play that game. It's like, oh, you want to be like that? Get the fuck out of my house. And that's what we're
Do you like being in a relationship with a woman who is gonna call you out sort of bullshit sometimes and challenge you, or do you prefer to be
Well,
she makes me submissive because the world already challenges